Welcome back. We are a day away from UFC Mexico City. It's time for me to bring you my best bets for the card. As you see, I'm all suited up, ready to go with the sombrero on. We're feeling the pride of Mexico. And I'm going to bring you some good bets. Last week we didn't do good. I'm chalking it up to a couple robberies. I'm going to go through that in a minute here. But I think I'm going to do a lot better than last week. Let me give a quick recap, I guess. So, I had 11 units down on the card last week. I was really ambitious, and it literally came down to Fletcher losing that decision and Mick Parkin losing that decision, which caused me to go negative instead of positive on the night. So since Fletcher and Parkin both lost their decisions, I ended up going 5.6 units down on the card. Not proud of it at all. But if they both won, I would have been up 1.4 units, just scraping by even. It's unfortunate. I really thought Parkin won. I thought Fletcher won. And we'll have to move on from it, obviously. But I have 8 units on this card, and there is massive potential for return. So let's get right into it. Let me hop over. I'm going to be on a couple different sites here. Topology, DraftKings, BetOnline. I'm going to be on all of them here. So for the first bet, I'm going to bring you on this card. I'm pretty confident this week that the Sparring Sessions Parlay is going to hit. If you're not familiar, the Sparring Sessions Parlay, it's a group podcast that I've been doing with a couple of my other buddies. So if you go over and watch some of their videos, we post a podcast every week, recapping the card and posting our picks and all that. So we post a group parlay every week. We've not been doing good on them, to say the least. We've not been doing great. But my legs always hit. My leg this week's Ronaldo Rodriguez, just saying. Lupi Godinez is another one of the guys' legs. That's Dax's. And then Big Will, he's taken the under in the Drew Dober fight, under 1.5 rounds. So let me punch that in real quick. That's going to be a good parlay, I think. I'm pretty confident in that. That gives us a plus 242, and I'm putting 2 units on this. I am pretty confident in this. Listen, if I was straight betting Lupi and Ronaldo Rodriguez, I would have probably close to 4 units down on both of them combined. So I'm not too upset about having 2 units in total on this parlay at all. The Drew Dober fight, I think this fight's going to end in the first round no matter what happens. I think one of these guys is going down in the first round, and I'm pretty confident in this. I think the odds actually just dropped on me when I had this punched in. It was 2 units wins 7. Now it's 2 only wins 4.84 units. So I'll have to adjust that in my numbers there. But yeah, that's a good parlay. I'm going to have 2 units down, and that's potentially going to win us 4.84 units. I nearly said to start the card, but that's going to take the whole card for it to cash. So moving on to the second bet, I'm taking Atiba Gauthier. I don't know I'm probably butchering that name. I'm taking this guy. You might be surprised. I think the decision line is a good line. Even though in my picks I kind of picked a TKO for Gauthier, but I think Jose Medina is a really tough guy, and to get plus 275 on this when all of Jose Medina's fights are going to decisions, it's a pretty good line, I won't lie. I'm going, oh my god, what am I doing? Oh my god. I'm going to have 0.5 on Gauthier by decision. I'm going to say his name differently every single time I say it. Let me get out of full screen here. There we go. So 0.5 units wins 1.37 units. I think that's a good line. It's not risking too much, and the return is pretty good. And I really the more I think about it, the more I think it's going to decision, even though I already picked him to get a finish earlier in the week. The more I think about this and doing this fight, it's probably going to a decision. So I like that line a lot. Get 1.37 units. We're going to the Lupi Godinez fight. And, Lupi Godinez, she's getting a lot of significant strikes in most of her fights. You look at the line, over 65.5. So let me show you something real quick. Lupi Godinez in her last fight got 67 significant strikes. And the fight before that, she obviously didn't, but that was against Vina Jandiroba, who was a very heavy grappling style. That's not going to be Julia Pilastri, this fight. I'm taking this off. Tabitha Ricci, that fight, you see she went way over the striking number in that fight. 98. Emily Cote, 132. Cynthia Calvillo, 87. Angela Hill, 92. She's always going over this number. So I really like 65.5. I think this is going to be a striking match. I think Lupi's going to be beating her up on the feet. I think that's a great number to get it at. Over 65.5 significant strikes. 2 units on that to win 1.73 units. Moving on to the next one. This might be an underdog of the week, I guess I'm going to call it. We're going Melquizael Costa over Christian Rodriguez. Listen, I don't care who's picking C-Rod this week. They don't understand how, when he loses fights. They don't have it broken down in their head enough yet. I've seen people that are like, oh, but he beat Austin Bashi. He beat this guy. He beat Bulgarian. He beat Simon. He beat Roses. The difference is Costa's not a newbie. This isn't Costa's first fight in the UFC. That's the difference. And Costa started at lightweight and is dropping down to 145. Rodriguez started at 135 and is moving up to 145. Is that not... That's a big thing in my head. I think Costa's going to be a bigger dude than Rodriguez, going to out-control him, get a submission. We'll get there later. But Christian Rodriguez on the money line, plus 135. I don't know what you guys think, but I like that a lot. And 1.5 units wins 2.04 units. I really like Melquizael Costa. He's getting a lot of credit from me. He's making a short turnaround. You know, the only reason to pick against him is because, he fought recently. Even though I think, that fight, he took no damage at all, got a really quick finish. And, last time C-Rod lost, it was a really quick finish against Julian Erosa, who also has a mean guillotine. And what did Costa just get in his last fight? A fucking first-round guillotine, man. Are we joking? Costa's getting this win. Obviously, we're going with Costa. 1.5 units, wins 2.04. And we're moving on to, might be a controversial one in some of your eyes, David Martinez versus Simon Oliveira. David Martinez, this is a newcomer in the UFC. He had a fight on Dana White Contender Series that went to a decision. Didn't get the finish that he wanted. But I think Simon Oliveira is a very finishable guy. And, he got finished against Daniel Marcos, who's usually just a pitter-pat leg strike merchant at range. So you're getting finished by Daniel Marcos. No, real shade at Daniel Marcos. He's on a massive win streak and all that. But usually, he's winning those fights by decision. Not by, a vicious round 2 TKO, I think that was. I think David Martinez at plus 115 instead of minus 485 is a great line. So I'll take that all day. And, it'll become apparent why I'm doing this unit in a second here, but we're doing 1.4 units on that to win 1.61 units. So that puts us in 7.9 units in total currently. So what am I doing with that last 0.1 unit, you ask me? What am I doing with that last 0.1 unit? Listen. Last week I gave you guys a long shot parlay that didn't hit. It was a submission special, I called it. So I think I'm going to continue that. I'm going to just continue giving you a massive long shot parlay with some the fights I think are going to end in submission on the card. So to start it off, we're going to the C-Rod fight. Melquizael Costa is going to get a submission win at plus 600. Then we're going to pair that up with Edgar Chairez by submission, plus 240. We're going to pair that up with Joe Pyfer by submission. Very interesting pick. I think he's going to submit Kelvin Gastelum. He trains with Sean Brady. I'm not going to convince you any more about it. And the last one is Ronaldo Rodriguez versus Kevin Borjas. So listen, a plus 48,000 odds parlay is kind of nutty. I'm only asking you to put a tenth of a unit on it. I'm only asking you to put a tenth of a unit on it. You know, that's $1 if you got $10 units. That's $10 if you got $100 units. That's if you're doing a fucking $1,000 units. You guys are insane. I don't know if you are, but if you are somehow doing $1,000 units, then you would have $100 on this parlay, which might be too much. You might, I don't know, that's too much for me. But 1.1 units wins 48.09 units. I'm going to repeat that. 0.1 units on this 4-leg parlay of Costa by submission, Shirez by submission, Joe Pyfer by submission, and Ronaldo Rodriguez by submission. You put a tenth of a unit to win 48.09 units. I'm just saying, that's pretty crazy, man. That's pretty insane. For reference, you have $50 units. It's a $5 bet to win $2,400. $10 units, that's a $10 bet to win $4,800. That's a pretty nutty bet. I like that a lot. So let me just recap. We have this parlay that's given us 8 units total on the card. We have a potential, before this long shot parlay with just the 7.9 units in, there's a potential for us to win 11.75 units, which would end us back up even, because last week we lost 5 units. We would get back because of that. And if this long shot somehow hits, then we are up 59.84 units on the card. That's if every bet hits. That's the potential. That's the maximum available profit is 59.84 units. So I cannot wait to see how these play out. I'm pretty confident, man. I think we're going to get it back. Last week came down to some nutty decisions. I should be up. I should be up from last week. But the decisions were really nutty. I don't think that's going to happen again. I'm pretty confident this week. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. That's going to round out the betting episode here. Just a short and sweet, little concise episode. Give you a couple bets. 8 units in total. Could win us 11.75 units without the long shot parlay, and 59.84 units with the long shot parlay. So look out for that. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys thought of my bets and anything else that you want to let me know about. And yeah, thank you for watching. Make sure to hit the notification bell. Have a good one. We will be doing a live stream tomorrow for the fight, so look out for that. But yeah, have a good one.